So I hadn't really meant to do a declutter series on all the things that I have in my makeup collection, but I was trying to put stuff away today and I just have no space for certain areas of my makeup collection. Specifically today, I'm going to be talking about bronzers, which are, wait, no, bronzers are here and there's some back there. And then I have highlighters as well that are just sort of spilling everywhere and the drawer won't close, so not okay. I need to get rid of some stuff. This whole area in here is single eyeshadows, which I probably should go through at some point, but we won't be covering that today. So I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of nearly as much as I did with my lipstick and palette declutter, which I will link in the description bar down below. But I do have some space that I can free up, so we're going to get into that. All right, I am back in my Christmas pajamas and we're gonna start with highlighters, and then the bronzers are over here, but we're gonna do those last. So there's a few in here I already know I want to get rid of because I just don't use them. Number one is this MAC one. It was part of their summer collection, I feel like last year, and it got a lot of shit basically because of cultural appropriation and stuff like that. This is the Gleam Tones powder in Dunes at Dusk. It's okay, but it's nothing impressive. Like when you swatch this, it just comes out as like a sort of peachy pink highlight that doesn't really reflect a lot, so I can definitely back to MAC this guy. I just zoomed you in a little bit closer so you can see better. So one of the ones I'm gonna be getting rid of is by Makeup Forever. And not because I don't like it, but because I already have duplicates. So they came out a while ago with their Pro Sculpting Duo. I love this highlighter so freaking much. This bronzer though, not that good. So they also came out with these as singles, the highlighters that is. So I don't need both. I can keep the highlighter version because there's way more product in this, and get rid of this one because I'm never gonna use that bronzer, so it's just a waste of space. So this one is a definite keep. This is the Pro Light Fusion in the shade 1. Incredible highlight. One thing I'm not going to be getting rid of is this absolutely ancient MAC product, and you probably haven't seen one look like this in 20 years. It is busted as all hell. This is the iridescent powder in Silver Dusk. They don't even make this anymore. They got rid of it I think 2 years ago, but this stuff is incredible. So I'm not getting rid of this even though it is incredibly old. It's powder, it doesn't smell nasty. I'm keeping it. One thing I am gonna let go though is this Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. Again, I actually really like this. It is comparable to the Becca versions. This one is Champagne Pop and this one is like Pearl. But I have Champagne Pop and I have Pearl, and I mostly got this so I could review it on the blog and compare it to the Becca ones. But now that I've done that, I don't need to keep it any longer. So I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. So just to show you, because I'm definitely not getting rid of the Becca ones, that one, ooh, hey, that one is Champagne Pop, and then this one is Pearl. These are absolutely fantastic products. They are so expensive, but they are well worth the money. A more newer one is this Tarte Spellbound Glow highlighter. This is amazing. It smells like vanilla or chocolate. It is a beautiful reflective sheen, and it's small and compact, which I like because most of these highlighters are pretty freaking big. So I'm definitely keeping this one. It's also like brand new on the market, so you can still get this. One that I'm not getting rid of and is much coveted by the MAC community is this Whisper of Guilt. This was part of a holiday launch a few years ago. It was the second iteration, ooh, cat hair, of Whisper of Guilt. It is beautiful, but it is not worth the hype that people make this out to be. Yes, it is a gorgeous highlighter, but there's a lot of products on the market that are identical. I think just because it was limited edition, people went bananas over it. So it's beautiful and I'm keeping it, but don't go and spend $100 if somebody's asking for it on eBay. My first ever highlighter was a MAC's Soft and Gentle. I am actually quite a bit through this pan. I don't know how much you can see, but there's a huge dip through it. This is a classic, and I'm definitely not getting rid of this one because I use it weekly. You know, it's funny, when you get to swatching these, it's hilarious how much are so similar. I mean, they're all basically just like champagne colored. Okay, it's kind of hilarious. I didn't think I was gonna be getting rid of that many, but I've just watched a whole ton and been like, why am I keeping these? They look identical. So the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter, absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit deeper in tone than a highlighter that would normally be used for pale skin. However, it is absolutely usable. And by pale skin, I'm referring to like an NC20. If you are that tone, you can wear it. You just may find it a bit deeper than you're used to. NC25 and up, definitely wearable, but I don't reach for this one a ton. I do love it. I have put it in a favorites video before, so I do think it's fantastic, but it's very similar to other things that I have. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. And then to follow that up, this one is very old. This is the Too Faced Candlelight Absolutely Invisible Powder. It is supposed to be like a setting powder. However, it's chock full of glitter. So I always use this as a highlighter. I did like it. I think it's good. And I, at one point, had hopes of finishing it, but I don't use it enough to warrant keeping it. And it doesn't provide enough shimmer or reflect on my face as a highlighter. So I'm just going to pass this one on. The one that I am keeping by Too Faced is their Candlelight Glow. This is the warm version, and there's two tones in here, but obviously you just mix them together. It is very similar to the Essence one as well as the other Too Faced one, but this is a more recent product, so I'm going to be keeping this one instead. One that I am definitely going to be keeping is actually a bronzer and highlighter duo. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. She makes some of my absolute favorite makeup. This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow in the paler shade. I think they did call this like a contour shade, but I would use this as a bronzer because I don't really contour. This highlighter is also really pretty, and I do use these pretty regularly, so I am 100% keeping this. This one, does anybody remember Dior Amber Diamonds? This was like the thing back in the day on YouTube. It is really lovely, and it's got kind of sentimental value just because it was one of the first products I ever bought because a YouTuber recommended it. So I'm gonna be keeping this one. Okay, and then these ones by Stila are pretty recent. This is the Heaven's Hue highlighters. These are kind of like little putties, kind of. If you push into them, they kind of keep the shape. This one is in Kitten, and I wear this a lot. So I'm definitely keeping that. And this one is Transcendence. And I don't wear it as much, but I love the tone in it. It's more of a purple pink kind of duochrome. So I'll be keeping this one as well. I really don't like the packaging. These things are so thick and they take up so much space. I wish they'd reduce the size, but good product nonetheless. All right, I was a little bit on the fence about these two, but I think I'm going to keep them. This is the Hard Candy Tiki Bronzer. It's really just a highlighter. You can only get Hard Candy at Walmart, I believe. This is really good. It is more subtle than some of the like more shimmery or reflective highlighters that you would get nowadays because we all like a lot of reflect on our skin. But I'm gonna keep it because I like something a little bit more subtle every now and then. Not that often, but often enough to want to keep it. Again though, super big packaging. Like I get that it's a baked product, but there's like at least like a few millimeters of space in there that was unnecessary. I was also on the fence about this one. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Other Earthly. It was released in their Future MAC collection, I think it was last year. I am gonna keep it just because it's so bloody strange. This is such a weird product to look at. If you mix them all together, the color is quite pretty, but you can get really like shots of silver or amber or pink depending on where you put your brush. And I'm not ready to part with it, so I'm gonna be keeping this one. All right, so I managed to get rid of 5 highlighters, which is honestly way more than I thought I was going to be. I thought I was only gonna be getting rid of these 2. So, job done. All right, moving on to bronzer. I really enjoy bronzer, but I don't know what it is lately. I must rotate between too many of them at once, but I used to finish about 1 bronzer a year, and that's no longer happening. So I used to feel justified in getting new bronzers because I was always kind of turning them over. Not that 1 a year is that much, but you know, I was finishing them. I can't remember the last time I finished a bronzer, so I need to cut some of this down because I just don't have the space for them. Oh, just to mention, anything in relation to these are all like single powder products. The highlighters are over there and the bronzers are here, but I'm not getting rid of anything that's in a palette, which is why I'm not even bothering to mention them. Okay, so ones that I know I have not reached for in forever, I'm just gonna get rid of. The first one is this Essence Sun Club Lighter Skin Shimmer Bronzing Powder. It does smell like coconuts, but I don't reach for it. It's also incredibly powdery and has cracked a little bit, so I am not keen to travel with it, and super powdery bronzers kind of go everywhere on my face, so I just don't want to keep this one. So that one's first to go. I'm also going to get rid of two of these Quo ones. These are the Duo, where are you? Yeah, the Duo bronzers. This is South Beach and this one is Golden Glow. I did originally like these, I think, but over time I just found myself not reaching for them. And I found that this one provided too much of a pink tone, and then this one seemed a little bit too orange for me. In general, they did go very nicely on the skin, but again, I haven't reached for them since I got them, so I don't see the need to keep them. They are in beautiful packaging. I think this is some of the best packaging that Quo has ever made. But for me, you know, if I'm not reaching for something, I might as well pass it on. I am going to be keeping this one by Quo though. This is their matte bronzer in the shade Light Tan. This is fantastic. One of my favorite bronzers. It is so smooth, the color is just right, and I do tend to prefer more matte bronzer, so I just want to keep this one. One that I am desperately trying to finish, and hopefully we'll try to get it done this summer, but I don't know, is this NYC Sun and Bronze bronzing powder. This is the shade Fire Island Tan. I have gone through quite a bit of this, but you can't buy it anymore, which kind of prevents me from using it in a lot of videos. You can see I've hit a ton of pan. I have really enjoyed this bronzer, but I also want to finish it. Like, I do not want to abandon this guy because I'm so close to being done. You know, I say so close, but that ring around the outside is pretty thick, so this might be a slow progress one, but I am keeping it. Another one I am keeping, and I truly bought solely because of the packaging. I love MAC summer collections generally, and this gradient color was beautiful. This is the Refined Golden Bronzer. It is part of MAC's regular collection. They just had special packaging for this launch. This is a bit deeper than I normally go for, and it does have little gold reflex in it. So I can only wear this during the summer, but I will be wearing that this summer for sure. Another bronzer that you can't get anymore is this Revlon Photo Ready Bronzed and Chic. I love this one, and it became permanent for such a short time. There's a color wheel in here, so you've got 4 shades, and you can mix and match depending on the season. It is matte, it blends so nicely. And I'm just so sad that it's not permanent, but I'm not getting rid of this one because, again, I love it so much and use it quite a bit. One that I find a little bit strange is this one by Too Faced. This is part of their Sweethearts line, and this is the Sweet Tea Bronzer. I do quite enjoy it. It is a little bit on the shimmery side, but it's such a weird colored product. It's almost gray looking in the pan, and I've got a lot of highlighter on my fingers right now, so I don't know if you can see, but it does go quite muddy. It's strange, but I actually like it on the skin. So I'm going to be keeping this one, even though this packaging is just insane. Like, look how big this thing is. But yeah, again, Too Faced devotee, definitely keeping this one. This one I'm getting rid of because it gave me so much grief. This is the Hard Candy Hula Hula Bronzer, and I wore this for an entire year straight and it went nowhere. Like, I cannot finish this product. I'm almost just so frustrated with it that I don't want to see it anymore. I didn't reach for it last summer, so I don't think I'm going to be reaching for it this summer, so I'm just going to pass this one on. This one I am going to be keeping. This is the Body Shop's Honey Bronzer in the shade 01 Light Matte. Super perfect for pale skin. I'm not going to be wearing it during the summer, but I will bust it out back in the winter next year. I don't have my butter bronzer here right now because it is packed for travel, and I don't want to pull that back out, but I'm definitely keeping the butter bronzer because that thing is incredible. All right, this one I have had such sad feelings about. This is the Bourjois Poudre Bronzante Délice de Poudre. It's a chocolate smelling bronzer supposedly, but it doesn't smell like chocolate to me. It smells kind of like coconut. But this thing caused hard pan the very first time I used it. And I am so upset because I really wanted to love it, but I don't use it. And it's like, I can barely get any product off of it. No, I just need to say goodbye to this one, even though it is absolutely adorable and I want to keep it so bad, but I just don't use it. And every time I use it, I'm frustrated. So that's not a product you want to keep, right? I am going to be keeping this Soap & Glory Solar Powder Bronzer. It is more of a winter bronzer for me because it is quite pale. Like the tone on this, there's no real sheen to it. It might be satin, but I do see it as more of a matte bronzer. I'm also a little bit on the fence about this SST Cosmetics bronzer. This is the Sunkissed bronzer, and they are a Canadian brand, and I really, really like this one. However, I didn't find myself reaching for it last summer, so I'm going to try to make a push for myself to use it this summer, and if I don't, I'll just get rid of it like come August or whatever. But I did really, really like this when I first reviewed it, so I should make sure to use it, and I will. These are another two pair of bronzers that I loved initially and then became more frustrated with them over time. These are the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusions. I have some of the deeper shades that they have because I quite like my bronzer. One is 25i and the other one is 30M. This one is more of an iridescent one and this one is matte. I don't get as much color in my skin as I used to, so these colors may not match me as they have in previous years. But the part that has become frustrating for me over time is the fact that these are very stiff. They apply so nicely on the skin. It looks beautiful if you are the right color tone for it. For right now, I'm too pale for these. But getting your brush in there to pick up the product is quite problematic. So I'm going to see if I use these this summer, and if I don't, then I'll probably get rid of them. And again, it's not because the powder is bad or the product is bad. It's just I find it a little bit stiff to get product onto my brush. Again, however, once I get it on there and put it on my skin, it looks lovely. But I didn't find myself reaching for these last summer, so I'm gonna see if I do this year, and if I don't, I'll get rid of them, and if I do, I'll keep them. So in total, I got rid of 5 bronzers as well as 5 highlighters. So, you know, I have a large-ish collection for highlighters and bronzers, but getting rid of 5 products does seem like quite a bit to me, so I'm happy enough. Now I'm gonna see if I can jam everything back in my drawer and be satisfied. Okay, so that was amazing. I actually managed to create enough room that my bronzers are not crammed and my highlighters are not spilling out onto the top of my counter. The bronzers that are the right tone for summer are sitting here, and I have the 2 paler ones sitting back there. And I was able to actually make enough room here to shove my lashes because they were kind of spilling out and they were on my countertop as well. All the highlighters are living here. They do fit in here perfectly. It's really, really nice. I'm really happy with this. Anyway, that's going to be it for my highlighter and bronzer declutter. Hope you've enjoyed watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!